Okay, continuing with my ghosts and haunting topic, I wanted to bring to the forefront a situation, and I had a subscriber point this out in the comments, and I completely agree. I have a couple of examples here in just a second, but sometimes you can have the kind of haunting that is actually comforting, okay? When my 19-year-old daughter was first born, I lived in a house in Mobile, Alabama, where the lady who built it, her daughter lived right next door. And she, died. But that was her home place. They had built that house. They had raised their children in that house. And when we bought it, she was still there. But she was a very comforting spirit. We would see her walk, okay? She was always either in the kitchen or the dining room, and she would go walking down the hall. We would see that, but that was it. We never had any other issue with her ever. It was just a very comforting type haunting. Nobody was bothered by it at all. And my subscriber was saying in the comments about how she knew her grandmother was still with her. And that is very possible, and actually probably a little bit more frequent than people realize. When my daughter and I moved to Mississippi back in January, we rented a little red house, and it was kind of the same situation. The husband and wife built the house. They raised their family there. There was a house next door where the son lived, and a house right next to that where I think the grandson lived at one point, but it was a familial haunting. And we did experience some odd things, like items coming up where there's no freaking way, and knocking, and we did experience some things, but we were never scared of it. So it wasn't a threatening type of haunting. You have the familiar or comforting type hauntings. You have the tape recorder type hauntings, where it's just basically an energy imprint of something very traumatic that happened at one time, and it was apparently enough energy was around at that moment due to emotions that it actually made a physical imprint. And that's where, when you have a ghost that walks down the hall consistently at the same time every night, that's like a tape recorder. It is not an intelligent haunting, okay? The familial is an intelligent haunting, but it's not threatening. Not every typical haunting is going to be threatening. It just catches you off guard. So it kind of spooks you and scares you. Now, depending, if you feel threatened, yeah, you really need to look at that. If you feel uncomfortable, you feel threatened, you don't need to be there. You need to take steps to protect yourself and your family and your home. You don't need to be there just vulnerable. No. And then there are poltergeist cases. In the case of a poltergeist, if you can't get it out of there, going anywhere else isn't going to do you any good. It's going to follow you. Poltergeists don't go by house, they go by person. And if you have attracted a poltergeist for whatever reason and however, because nobody really knows how it happens, there's theories, but no one knows for sure. If you have a poltergeist, you're going to have to deal with it. It's not going to go away until you do. And then there's also demonic type hauntings, and that's the kind that you don't need to do it on your own. You need to put some protection in place, but you don't need to try to do it on your own. If you start having issues like sacrilegious type things, a hatred for religion, a hatred for you, if things start happening and someone there is threatened physically, there was a case, I think it was the Smurls, where the ghost actually, the light fixture that was up in the dining room, it was a big chandelier or something, it had it fall and almost crush one of the daughters in that house. If you're going through things like that, you need to get out. You need to get some help. There is nothing you can do on your own. You're going to have heavy duty help. Now, you can call a priest. You can call a witch. You can call a medium. They can probably point you in the right direction of where you need to go. It really depends. If you're very, very religious, I would say go with the priest. I usually don't say that because I don't particularly care for many of the practices of the Roman Catholic Church in the past, but sometimes you have to have help, and if that is the religion that speaks to you in that case, yeah, go for it. You're going to need all the help you can get. If you are not particularly religious, then you can either go with a medium, and a lot of times the Catholic Church will include a medium, or you can go with like a witch, or a shaman, or a lot of the Native American tribes have people that handle that type thing also. There are options, but you definitely don't need to go it alone. So these are some of the types of hauntings, but the main gist that I wanted to point out here is not every haunting is threatening. Not every haunting is harmful. So not every haunting has to have extra things done for it. Sometimes it's just going to be what it's going to be. So anyway, thank you guys for joining me. And if you have any questions, make sure you shoot them down in the comments. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and have a great day.